Yeah, you were like, you didn't even, you were like, I didn't, you were pretty much like, yo, I wasn't even expecting you to say yes. It's like, well, yeah, I kind of like that you pulled up and shot your shot, though. You know what I'm saying? That lets me know that it's like, you may not have your brand worked out, but you know, you're being more proactive than most. I'm pretty certain there are a lot of young men like you who are following according to hip hop right now that probably have started their own podcast and it probably had the inkling of reaching out to me and they haven't. You know what I mean? And you know that sucks for them because they're not getting like 30 minutes of my time at like midnight on a Sunday, which is precious time for me. But I know I had to like kind of put you off because I had other things to handle,
Yeah.
and this is app, so we're gonna handle it. You know, so if you want to, we can kind of like get into the discourse of whatever you wanted to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Or if you had any questions for me, you know, in comparison to maybe some of your thoughts and some of your notes based on what you were saying about the King's Disease Project. So you tell me how you want to navigate these waters, young man.
Yeah, for sure. I first of all, I just want to know, like, how did you start according to hip hop?
Well, I didn't start according to hip hop. Mike B did, and so yeah, so Mike's the owner of According to Hip Hop. Mike and I have known each other for over 20 years now. I met Mike. This is around that same time. I met Mike when I was about 20. He was about 19. We both used to be MCs.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Mike and I both used to be MCs. Mike was part of a group. I was on a solo mission, but I had my cousin with me, Six, who I reference on the show, M6, my cousin Mario. I asked him to move down here after our grandfather passed away. And so, kind of in a group with my cousin, and was all working at Dave and Buster's in Marietta together. Um, we had a mutual friend, Holla. Holla's from the 206 Central District in Seattle. Holla recorded his first real single uh, called Back Up Off Me at me and Six's crib. And the first place that we actually played it and Holla performed it was at Mike D's 21st birthday party at Mike's old house.
Oh,
And
sheesh.
so that's how far Mike and I go back as far as knowing each other and being in the same circle of people. Mike and I had worked together, but I really didn't know Mike, but met Mike through Holla that night. I would actually still run into Mike when I was getting my taxes done. And I'm going to tell you exactly, and the reason I'm telling you the tax story is that one day I was back in school at Kennesaw State getting my degree and I was getting my taxes done. I went to see my tax guy, and Mike was literally sitting in the desk right across from my guy, you know, and I dapped him up. I was a year away from getting my degree. One of my favorite lines from Common is when he's on beat and he says, I'm writing for my life because I'm scared of a day job.
Damn, that's deep.
And and I was feeling that way. I was like, I've come through this far. I've been, you don't know my story. I've been to like 4 different schools, but I was like, yeah, I was like, I don't want no regular ass job. I really just want the degree. I got to do something else to make this work. And so my foray and my forging into according to hip hop actually came about 2016, just about me reaching out to Mike on the humble. And I sat back and just watched according to hip hop on Facebook for maybe about 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm like, well, I'm still a writer. I don't MC anymore, but I know I still have my writing skills. I just need to sharpen them a little bit. Being back in college helped with that. And so I reached out to Mike and asked him if I could start providing content for according to hip hop. So I started doing reviews and editorials and just little pieces whenever I wasn't working because the goal was to get myself up out of it, you know? And that was 2016. I mean, now it's 2023. Now I'm not all the way up out of it, but I am part time. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a full time job outside of recording the hip hop, so it's almost fulfilled its vision. And part of the reason that I'm kind of foraying into my own sub channel and things is to make sure it fulfills that vision of kind of like making me write for a living and do this for a living full time because I'm officially almost there. And when you're 41 and you've been divorced and I mean, my daughter's 16, fam. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, for me to be able in a position at this age to actually have stepped into it in my mid 30s like I did and to be approaching my early 40s, and it's about to be like the whole thing, like all the time, is like really, really a blessing. That's why I'm telling you, it's like, oh, no, 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 don't rush it, brother. Like, it's a beautiful thing. So that's how I became part of According to Hip Hop. Mike had some business partners at first, and they kind of stepped down, and Mike assumed control. And I'm pretty much just a senior creative consultant, and I own my own consulting business. So According to Hip Hop is kind of like, According to Hip Hop is my prize piece as a consultant. We had 165,000 followers on Facebook when I started. It's at 8,000 now on Facebook. We weren't on Spotify
Damn.
before I came to According to Hip Hop. We are now. So it's like when people ask me like who I am, it's like y'all look at me as like I'm the review guy. It's like really my business mind is more geared towards the fact it's like no, 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 no. According to Hip Hop didn't have 1 million followers before I pulled up and started writing these articles and doing these podcasts. They do now. That's what I'm most proud of. Yeah. So that's my role in According to Hip Hop. We were actually just at According to Hip Hop offices today, but According to Hip Hop is Mike's baby. I'm just
Oh, I see.
I'm the consultant, the consigliere. You know what I'm saying?
Like Tom
Yeah.
Hagen.
Yeah, I'm just Tom Hagen. Like I'm just like behind the scenes. I'm like, okay, I'm like, but we should move like this. You know what I'm saying? And we should do this year. So I don't like own the business, and I'm not necessarily like blood to the family, but I'm kind of blood to the family. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
like it was my back, but I mean, essentially, I built According to Hip Hop into what it is with Mike, and I take pride in that, and also too, building this with Mike has quite frankly given me the blueprints to do it myself. I know exactly what I need to do because it's like, well, I helped Mike do it. So it's like I know exactly how and what I'm doing right now. I'm actually about to my sub podcast Mirror Music 99. We're about to start doing our content pieces on Facebook because I know how that tracks and what that looks like to I know the order of how this process goes now. You know what I'm saying? The YouTube channel is to make you a little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? Is in your media and in your content and growing your brand. So
Damn, that's crazy because I didn't even know you guys had a Facebook. Because, like, I'm 20 and nobody I know, like, really uses Facebook anymore. So, yeah, that's crazy.
Facebook will get you paid. You know what I'm saying? Because it'll get your following up, get your media up, get it circulated. That's what I mean. Is it's like, well, do I use Facebook regularly? No, I don't. I mean, listen to me. I'm 41. I don't use Facebook regularly. You have to understand, Facebook, when I was your age, was something you could only get unless you had a college email. So it was essentially a hookup site for us horny teenagers and early 20s people in college. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I'm at such and such campus, and the girl show you her picture, y'all meet it. You know what I mean? That's how Facebook
Yeah.
worked. I only got on Facebook when I moved back from Cali so I could get back in contact with my Cali people because I didn't have everybody's number. So that was like 2006. So even what Facebook was then isn't what it originally was intended to be. And so I'm not even on Facebook. But I'm going to tell you what, my content's about to be all over Facebook. Like Mike and I put something on Facebook, I mean, 10,000 people are going to watch it. Just because. Just because. You know what I'm saying? Because it's 10,000 people floating around in there. Like 10,000 people gonna pick it up over a course of time, a week or two. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even. And so that's you got to think with your business mind about that and be like, oh well, I don't fuck with Facebook, but my business does. Yeah,
Yeah, but I guess it's like not really what you use, it's what other people use, right?
yeah. Your feelings aren't facts. Feelings are not facts. You may feel like Facebook is a piece of shit. I'm telling you, I got 806,000 people on According to Hip Hop that'll tell you otherwise.
Damn.
hmm Facebook is how Mike made all of this go. Part of even why people even know who I am before I even pulled up and started writing with Mike is because Mike and I used to argue on Facebook all the time. Like the way we argue on the show, that's not a game. Like people think that like we're writing this stuff out. It's like no, people understand. Mike and I, before I joined According to Hip Hop, he would make a post about something on According to Hip Hop, and me and this guy would argue on his threads for like 3, 4, 5, sometimes 7 days. I went on vacation one time and I pulled back up on Mike like 10 days after a conversation started. Like, I'm not letting you get away with this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So me and Mike would have full-fledged arguments like that that would literally track on social media before according to hip hop. And that's why when I was like, well, can I come write? He was already down for it because he was already seeing how our conversations and our dialogue was chatting, which was essentially just the show in text form. Like what me and Mike were doing in Argue with Mike in 2013, 2014 on Facebook when I actually was active on Facebook like that. Yeah, we having arguments for days.
So what's like one thing that you and Mike just completely just always disagree with?
That we don't disagree with. You talking about where we like feel the same thing or where we
No,
feel
no, no, like where you like your opinions differ.
I'm still not with Mike on this whole Eminem thing that he's on. I'm just,
Yeah, yeah, I always see like you don't rate Eminem like that.
I'm not a fan of Eminem like that, but I'm not where Mike is. Mike's tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to be a fan of you. And when I say I'm not a fan, fan has nothing to do with uh, respecting you or seeing or acknowledging your talent. It just means I have an attachment to you. Like, I'll give you an example. It's like, well, I know who Larry Fitzgerald is as a wide receiver, but I was never a fan of his. He never caught my attention like that, but I'm very well aware of, the route running, the skills, the hands, the jumping, catching radius. No. I'm aware of all those things, but just never a big fan of his. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And so I speak about Eminem in those regards because it's like, oh, no. It's clear to me who he is. You know what I'm saying? And this is also what I mean when I say that. As somebody that used to MC, there wasn't too many people when I was active and I was really doing this every day or writing something every day or in album mode or in recording mode like I was. There wasn't too many people when I got good that really bothered me. That I'd be like, man, if this guy steps into the room, it's going to be a problem. No, he was one of those guys. And so some of my perspective is that I never forgot the artist in me that is very, very clear that if he would have walked into a room or a studio that I was in around the time when I was doing music like that, I would have had my hands very, very full. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't about to be like, oh no, I got him. No, he's not one of those guys that he walks to the studio, you're like, yeah, I got him. Mm-mm. And so that's where it's like, that's why I'd say, so that would be me and Mike's biggest disagreement. Now, he makes some valid cultural reference points. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the MC's ability to eat another MC up is still just that, too. And that's what I just try to remind Mike. It's like, no, he knows how to make songs. He knows how to make hits. Lyrically, even if you don't like personally where he's taking it, you got to respect it. So the M thing would probably be the biggest disagreement.
So like on your greatest MCs list, where would you place him? Like, where would you have him?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I would probably have him somewhere between 25 to 35 personally.
Okay, I see.
Personally, as an overall MC, yes, personally. But that's not my objective list. And that depends on what metric that you're rating things on, too.
What about like criteria Billboard had?
If Billboard's metrics were being used properly, he would be in the top 15. He wouldn't be as high as he is. But according to their metric, I could see him viably being top 10, 15. Yeah. You
Yeah, they
know,
had them I think number 5.
some guys are just so special to me that it's just like you can't just feed me the narrative or feed me the numbers. And so I don't buy the whole Eminem Kendrick thing in terms of the Billboard thing just because it's like, man, nobody really legitimately walking around here thinks those guys is better than Nas or Jay
Nah, 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 nah.
or Rakim specifically. Like those 5 guys specifically, and that's what I mean. It's like, no, them 5 guys are succinctly different. And then you got another crop of guys like an Ice Cube and a Ghostface. Like after that, where it's like, no, like, like, and it's a funny thing. And sometimes, and people have to understand this, like Michael Jordan just happened to be one of the most fundamentally sound players ever. He was
Yeah.
most exciting. And so what people need to understand about somebody like Kendrick or Eminem and why I don't like necessarily have them personally, like as high as other people is like, well, you know, Ghostface is just as fundamentally sound as you guys, but way more entertaining. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, if I want to watch somebody dunk a basketball, I want to watch Ghost dunk a basketball more than I want to watch M and
Yeah,
Kendrick.
it's not the same.
It's not. All 27 points per game ain't built the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you were younger. Oh God, no. Actually, not to be funny, before you were born, Jason Kidd used to play for the Dallas Mavericks. Did you know that?
No.
Jason Kidd, the coach. Are you familiar with basketball, NBA basketball? Here, you follow?
Nah, I don't know much about basketball except like the Raptors.
Right. No. That's interesting. That's why I was asking. So let me try to make like maybe a better analogy. It's like, okay, so
I like MMA,
um
so if you know that or boxing.
boxing, not MMA so much, but I know a little bit. I'm more old school. I like the sweet science of boxing more than I like MMA. Yeah, I'm a sweet science guy. I can talk boxing with you all day if you wanted to do that. Well, here's what I was just trying to say when I was saying that is that okay, this is what I mean. A top-notch verse from somebody like a Fat Joe, that's not the same thing as a top-notch Jay-Z verse. You get what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
it's, I don't know. Like Fat Joe has stuff where it's like, oh no, that's 27 points a game, like you say. That don't look like Jay's 27. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that's a really good analogy. I like that.
yeah, so it's not all the same. And so do most people think like To Pimp a Butterfly is better than Supreme Clientele? Well, yeah. But I'll tell you, I play Supreme Clientele like 50 times before I play To Pimp a Butterfly once. You get what I'm saying? And so maybe it's not better.
Yeah, I used to be a big fan of Kendrick. Like he was the first rapper I listened to back in like 2015. I was like, man, this guy's the GOAT. And I thought his new album was just, it was kind of trash. And like 2016, I started listening to Nas. And I'm like, okay, this is my guy now, Nas. I kind of just stopped listening to Kendrick around that time too.
Well, you were 10 when he came out, and then he abandoned you at 15. So at 20, you're probably like, what the fuck, dude? I would be, I would be that way. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like in 2017, he dropped Damn, and I really like Damn, but then, like, he made me wait, like, 6 years for Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and I was just not a fan of that. But Nas is the same thing. Like, I became a fan of Nas in 2016 or 15, and he would always say, oh, this album's done. I remember he made Nas album done on DJ Khaled. I was so excited. There's just nothing came after. I'm just like, he keeps doing it.
The major record. Hmm. Oh,
He
yeah.
just made me wait.
Yeah, he's no total that, by the way. You know, yeah, there have been like so many Nas projects that you know don't even get me started on that. That's a whole other conversation. That happens. What I would submit to you is that the first thing that you told me was like, "Oh, I just got hit to Nas in like 2016." I'm like, "Oh, I'm kind of starting to fill that Kendrick gap real soon,"
Yeah, that
because
could be why, yeah.
it's really like content wise and stylistically wise. If you were drawn to Kendrick, and then Kendrick, what Damn comes out 2017. Yeah, so you didn't hear any Kendrick 2016, but you're about 15 years old and you're a fan. And usually, when you're a hip hop fan at that age, it's every day, every year. Yeah. And so, yeah, you start seeing like some of your gaps about stuff even as you like grow. It's like, you know, Kendrick is kind of like off of the Nas tree for a lot of people in a lot of ways in terms of like, some of the things manifested rhyme wise, definitely like some skill level construction, storytelling ability, quality album making, having some depth and stream of consciousness that connects back to the black community, the black struggle, so on and so forth.
Yeah, then I saw that Billboard ranking where they had Nas 3 and Kendrick 2. I'm like, no way. Like, there's no way Kendrick is better than Nas. Like, come on.
No, that's what I mean. That's why it's like I don't know what people are listening to or what they have confused. And it's not me being nostalgic or stuck in some sort of '90s bind. They're just some guys who are succinctly better. You know, it's not my fault that like four of the five guys that are succinctly better happen to come from an era where I literally was in my formative years. You know what I'm saying? Like people understand this too. It's like Pac came a little bit earlier than these guys. I missed a lot of Pac stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't I wasn't able to even buy a Pac album, you know what I'm saying, until All Eyes on Me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like his first three albums I had to listen through my cousins or the homies had to have it, or my homegirl who had a crush on him went and bought his tape because she thought he was sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have no Pac album until I had All Eyes on Me, and so I even missed Pac, and that's why it's like no, it's not even a generational thing, fam. Because I had to go back and listen to Pac live as a teenager. I missed the early stuff, quite frankly. Like I didn't even hear Me Against the World from beginning to end until maybe right before All Eyes on Me came out. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even grow up with Nas music, but I'm just like, I'm just like, he's just better. Like, he's
Yeah.
what I like to listen to still, anyway.
Yeah, what you hear is what you hear, fam. You know, and like, like words will lie to you. You know what I'm saying? The actions won't. You know what I'm saying? Like what your ears are hearing when you're like, man, like, no, this guy sounds good. No, like you're hearing that accurately. And I've realized that some of that separation is voice. Like Nas just has a better voice than a lot of these guys too. Like he has a way better voice than Eminem on the mic. That matters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel you. Like Eminem, he's kind of got like a bit too nasally for me
voice
to
matters.
like.
Yeah,
Did you like Nazir though?
I did. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid project.
Yeah, I liked it too, but like the critics, they hated that. They hated on
Mike
it.
D and I talk about that, not with some frequency, but we've brought that up. It's like it was definitely well, how about this? And you've been following us, so you know how we've been kind of tracking how the media has been talking about Nas. There's some more evidence of like the slander right there, because it's like the way they talked about Nasir when it came out, you would have thought that this was like a 1-star album or something.
Yeah, I know.
It's actually a very solid project from beginning to end. It just doesn't have any true, Nas usually has like blistering great moments on his projects. They're not just great moments, they're blistering. Like the mic is sizzling when he's done with it. Even if it's not super lyrical, the quality or the caliber of song will make you go like, whoa. Nasir didn't have that, but it was consistent. It had some things that could have been improved upon, but most of that's Kanye.
Yeah, I heard some things like it was super rushed. It's like made in a week. Like,
Yeah, and recording the fucking car, dude. You got Nas recording the car to do vocals. It's like, what are we doing here, dude?
no, but I still, I think it had some crazy moments like Not for Radio, Adam and Eve, um, White Label. Like, I would place those like top tier Nas songs. White Label is just crazy.
I don't know if I would put it in top tier, but it's interesting to you to use that perspective. And here's what I'll tell you. You know what my favorite record is on there? Bonjour.
Bonjour.
But this is what I mean. So this is our age gap, and this is what's cool about it. I've been to France. I've been
Okay.
overseas. I've traveled. That record is gonna hit me. That's hitting the late 30-something-year-old me that's literally traveled around the world differently than it's hitting the 20-something-year-old you. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why he's the GOAT to me, because it's like you are picking White Label. It's like, no, 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 that's that rap shit I would have picked when I was your age too. If I was your age, I would have picked White Label. But the grown up in me that likes to literally have a little Bordeaux from Bordeaux liked Bonjour when he talks about eat at selective kitchens. You know what I'm saying? No, I feel that. I'm that way. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't that way at 20 though.
I see you with the.
So we'll call it cranberry juice.
Alright. What did you think about the Lost Tapes too? Because that was another one that people hated. I actually like that one as well. But yeah, so what you think?
I wasn't a big fan of Lost Tapes too, but also too, this is what I mean. Sometimes you have to understand what's going on, and Lost Tapes 2 is his contractual obligation being fulfilled to Def Jam.
Yeah, he just threw it out there to get it out, right?
I think threw it out there is a little bit too harsh, but the concern based on some things that had happened behind the scenes was more about fulfilling the obligation to get to the next thing.
And Mass Appeal.
Well, the next thing was these King's Disease projects that we
Oh
did.
yeah, 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 yeah. Right.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah, with this recent run right now, I feel like he's just lapping everybody right now. Like he's up here, and as everyone else, like I think has solidified himself, and I just think right now there's just no comparison. Like he is, I don't know. I just that's
No.
my opinion. Like he's just up.
No. See, okay, so personally, um, have Pac and Rakim and Big right there with him. And so he's not. I still have him number one. Like he's still number one. KRS One's up there too. Ice Cube, Scarface, Ghost. Um, so there are a lot of guys that I feel like are in striking distance, although nobody is him. But I wouldn't put him a clear tier above. And here's what I mean. When you're saying a clear tier above, I mean, what do you mean? Because it's like for me, it's so hard to be a clear tier above somebody like a Biggie or a Tupac.
Yeah, I just think it's like the longevity. Like Nas, he's been around. Like Jay Z, he just dropped like 2017, but Nas is continuing to drop quality projects. So I think, but maybe it's just like I don't know as much because I haven't really heard the other discographies. Like Rakim, I just heard him
Uh,
like 3 months ago. I thought he was pretty crazy. So I just gotta get more wide range.
Okay. I mean, no. I mean, never look at it like you don't know as much as me. You just have not been as exposed to as much information as I have. You and I, we know the same things. You know what I'm saying? I have the fortune of being on Earth a little bit longer, and therefore the information I've been able to receive is greater. So my knowledge isn't greater, except my information is. You know, so never think that you're less knowledgeable than somebody. 90% of the knowledge is about who holds the information. You know what I'm saying? That's just the information thing. But what I will tell you is these things are available to you. And I'll tell you how I rock him. I got into Rakim actually about Nas because when I was listening to It Was Written when I was 15 years old, everybody kept telling me that he sounded like Rakim. And I knew who Rakim was, and I had heard some records, and I remembered some records, but I had never really dug in. And, quite frankly, the guy that got acquainted with Rakim at 15 years old was like, no, this guy's just as good as Nas. But keep in mind, Nas was only on the second album when I said that. But those two albums, but Rakim was like that, even though I had heard Illmatic and It Was Written, I was listening to what Rakim was doing. And part of why I still had him right there with Nas is because the things that Rakim were saying in 88, the top tier rappers didn't catch up to until 96 outside of Nas, like lyrically speaking. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Part of why Nas was compared with him so closely was that he was really the only one truly lyrically operating on his level. So if there was the separation, that was then. But what I'll tell you is that by 95, 96, it's 97, guys like Biggie and Jay had popped up and Pac had evolved, and so more comparable. But the stuff that Rakim spitting was about 10 years ahead of the curve. So, and you can hear it.
Damn.
I was listening. You have to understand. I'm listening to Rakim in '96 on his '88 shit, but as an MC, he sounds like it's '96, and that was the thing. It's like no. It sounds like he could rap right next to Nas right now in '96 with these bars. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing with Rakim. So I would definitely encourage you, as somebody that's a fan of the culture, to not just delve into him, and delve into these other guys. Because I'm going to tell you what, people calling us out on not knowing our pre-85 knowledge has me like wanting to pull up old Run DMC and Houdini and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five stuff so I can get more acquainted. That's why I mean there's still more information I need to have too. So, we're all learning and growing and building.
So when did Follow the Leader came out? Because that was my first song. I thought that was crazy.
It's 88. That's the guy I'm talking about.
So way.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm talking about. That guy's a problem, man. Like, I'm saying, like, how about this? In 1996, Tupac or Biggie couldn't rap like that. Not lyrically, no. Big, maybe delivery-wise, was getting to a place that it was just so phenomenal. But as far as just the bar work, oh no, ain't too many people that even came along in the existence of rap that's even able to lyrically rap at the level that Follow the Leader is on, the song and the album. That's what I mean. Like, that's why the Nas comparison like really comes in. It's like, well, he was really the first person to come along that was lyrically even touching that stuff.
So what's your thoughts on like modern rap,
Mhm.
like post 2020? Like, do you think there's a decline or no?
The podcast and dealing with the youth has made me more of a fan. Actually, I've had to understand something. Like, I was just at this Rap Snacks event, and Nick Love was actually talking, and he literally was like, "Not really about the music like that anymore." You know that, right? And I'm thinking when he's saying that, like, why the hell is he telling a room full of artists and media that? And then I realized he's telling us that because it's the damn truth. It is about 70, 80% of your branding, your marketing, your image, what you're going to do outside of rap to make yourself pop. You know what I'm saying? And so I've had to learn to appreciate that, well, these current crop of younger MCs, they don't spend their time honing their rhyme skills because that's not the thing to do anymore. It's really not their fault. It used to be the thing. Yeah, right. Now they need to be smart and businessmen who know how to brand and how to market and how to be catchy and how to be likable and wear the right outfit. And like it's turned into something I wouldn't say totally different, but things are different and people need to understand this. All music moves through cycles and you're gonna have good times, you're gonna have bad times, you're gonna have great times, and you're gonna have legendary times. And quite frankly, hip hop has had more great and legendary times than people realize, and so sometimes we're just a little bit spoiled by the greatness that we've already experienced in such a brief time. We're a little spoiled, and I'm speaking from somebody that's really spoiled because it's like, oh, well, I came up in a house where the NWA, the Slick Rick, the LL Cool J, and Rakim was getting played by my older cousins, and then it's Wu-Tang and Snoop and Dre and Nas and Big and Pac and Outkast, and then you get 50 and J and DMX. It's like, no, you understand how lucky you are to get these stars performing at a high level? It's not always going to be this way. And so I don't know if I wouldn't necessarily constitute this is like the dark ages of rap. We're just in a different time, and time is really going to tell, you know, what it means. I didn't realize how important 96 was until like maybe 2009, 2010. I look back at 96 and I was like, man. And I say to myself, that's the year I fell in love with rap. And then I look at all those albums. It's like, man, I ain't the only one that fell in love with rap that year. All of us that age fell in love with rap that year. Look at all these albums. There's no way you couldn't. Somebody that you liked in 1996, if you were my age, 15, if you were anywhere between the ages of 10 to 25 in 1996, oh no, you probably became a fan of hip hop because somebody dropped something you like. Oh, you don't like all the cursing and the gang banging. The Fugees made the score. The Roots made Half Life. Oh, you want something funky? Redman made Muddy Waters. You want some down south? UGK made Riding Dirty. You want some Wu-Tang? Ghostface made Iron Man. You feel me? You want some hustling music? Jay made Reasonable Doubt. You want the best lyrics you ever heard? Nas made It Was Written. It's like, you want some more down south done in a classic hip hop form? You got ATLians. You want some hardcore East Coast? We got Hell on Earth by Mobb Deep. 96 has
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
stacked.
they. Oh, you tied all the gangster rap. We got Stakes is High by De La Soul and Beats Rhymes and Life by Tribe Called Quest. You know what I mean? Like this just it was just everywhere, dude. It was like all in your face. It was like, oh shit. It's like it's a thing now.
So is 96 your favorite year of rap?
Yes.
Or so like what are the other best years of rap? Like what's your top three or something?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. 94, 95, 96 is so important to me, and I do think those is three of rap's 6 or 7 best years. That's what I mean. Like for me, you have to understand, in my opinion, three of rap's best 6 years happened when I was 13, 14, and 15.
Wow.
Well, I'm super right. So I'm super like 4, 95, 96. I'm 13, 14, 15. So I'm super stuck on those years. I would tell you that 88 year sticks out in my mind.
Yeah?
When I as a head that knows its history and goes back and revisits, I would tell you that 96, 88, and 95 ring out to me the most in terms of volume and quality of classic material. I don't think we'll ever have a 94 situation again because in Illmatic and Ready to Die, you have arguably two top 10 albums getting made within like a 3 or 4 period. That's not happening again ever. But I also think that happening kind of skewed 94 a little bit. If you look at 95 and 96, they're better years. And the only thing that really makes 94 compete with 95 and 96 is Illmatic, Ready to Die, Southern Playalistic, and The Diary by Scarface.
Yeah, I've never listened to Southern Playalistic or The Diary by Scarface.
You need to write those down. You need to listen to those. How about this? Those specifically as somebody that's from the South down here, those are the two albums that made me rap. Like Nas and AZ and Wu-Tang made me want to rap, but I didn't believe that I could. The Diary and Southern Playalistic is why I believe that I could rap and take part in hip hop. They are still, I mean, the Diary is still one of the 5 best rap albums that come out of the South. Southern Playalistic isn't that far behind. Matter of fact, the only album that I think that came out of the South, for me personally, I think is better than The Diary is Aquemini. Maybe Soul Food by Goody Mob, or you can pick your favorite Outkast project after Aquemini. There's not too many rap albums that came out of. There's not too many rap albums better than The Diary, and as far as the South is concerned, it's still top three.
You like 3 6 Mafia?
Not as much as Mike B and my cousin Six, but yes, DJ Paul. DJ Paul's a yeah, DJ Paul's a man.
Yeah, like Outkast and Scarface, they get like a lot of praise. Like you think Scarface is you think they're like top tier all
Yeah,
time?
yeah, right there. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right there. Right there. Right there. Scarface to me is a top 5, top 10 MC all time. Easy. Yeah, and Outkast is the greatest rap group of all time, in my opinion.
Really?
Because I don't. Yeah, yeah. If I'm not counting Wu Tang solo catalog, if we count now, you want to talk about some separation. If you include Wu Tang solo catalog, they are clear and far and away the greatest rap group of all time, and it's not even remotely up for conversation. But if I'm picking one group and their group work, I'm still taking Cass over Tribe and De La and Public Enemy, NWA, and Wu Tang specifically. Still Cass. So yeah, as far as the South is concerned, specifically MC Scarface, group Outcast. The guys right under Scarface MC wise to me, well, two of them are in Outcast. It'd be Big Boy and Andre and Ti Wayne. That would be my 5. My Southern 5 MCs would be Face Mob, Ti, Big Boy, Wayne. Um, I objectively, I wouldn't put Andre in there about the solo material, but personally, yeah, because he's just stupid nice. And he more than any other Southern rapper, he more than anybody else made me believe I could rap.
He's like that?
Yeah, he that guy. He that guy down here. If you're from the South, especially if you're from Atlanta, you grew up around. He that guy. He that guy. He made all of us believe because he's the first guy. Like people never really gave Face his props like he deserved. Andre was the first MC from the South that they couldn't deny. He was too good to deny. He was too good.
Yeah, I never listened to them.
You need to get into some Outcasts. You are not familiar with Cast, yeah. Cast and Rakim are required reading, sir. So is Scarface, especially. Yeah, this is required reading stuff.
Yeah, I see Scarface in like so many like top 10 lists, all time lists, and I'm like, I never even heard of anything of him except for when he's on Ghetto Boys,
Hmm.
Mind Playing Tricks on Me. That's pretty much it.
I mean, first of all, Mom Played Tricks on was one of the 10 best rap songs ever to this day. And Scarface, outside of Nas, might be the owner of hip hop's greatest album catalog. That's how great his albums are. If we're going catalog, I would only put Nas's catalog ahead of his.
Like, cause of the work he has on Ghetto Boys, or
Maybe
he has a crazy solo catalog too.
no, I'm talking about his solo catalog. I'm not talking about the Ghetto Boy. Yeah, his solo catalog rivals anybody's. I think song for song, it's better than everybody's except for Nas's. If we're talking song for song, yeah,
Damn, I gotta get
yeah.
into some Scarface
He's
then.
like he's. As a matter of fact, the only people. How about this? His catalog is in a KRS-One, Jay Z, Nas, Ghostface type of conversation catalog wise. Yeah, like his catalog is better.
So, what would you rank as like the best Wu-Tang solo catalog albums?
And only built for Cuban Links and Liquid Swords are the best Wu-Tang solo projects to me, followed by Supreme Clientele. So my top three in order would go Only Built for Cuban Links, Liquid Swords, Supreme Clientele. Those three, as far as a solo project.
Yeah, I've heard some only built for Cuban links, but I heard the whole Liquid Swords, and that's my jam probably. Like that's all. The album's crazy.
I listened to Liquid Swords literally about 3 days ago. Liquid Swords, I don't rap like that anymore, to be honest with you. Liquid Swords is one of those albums that I literally pull up and play from beginning to end. And I do that with very few rap albums. It's a top 25 rap album to me, easy. On a personal level, I'll probably have it top 15. Objectively, top 25, top 30, but personally, top 15.
I swear, like when I'm hearing some of the stuff that Wu Tang members say or that album, the lyrics are just flying over my head. Like I'm not grasping some of their
It
concepts.
is flying over your head. Don't feel bad. You're still catching up to stuff. Like on Liquid Swords, you know what RZA is saying when he's ending his verse on Fourth Chamber, right?
I don't really know. Is he talking about like life decisions?
He's, no, he's saying protons, electrons
Oh,
always fall.
peace. Yeah.
Peace. Yeah, peace. Yeah. So you know what I mean. So a lot of the stuff that you miss, it's like if you're catching that stuff, you're catching a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Like for somebody like you at your age, you can't understand probably labels the way that I can, because a lot of those words that he's using, you probably don't even know that those were labels. Like Fourth and Broadway, when he said I
Yeah, I
was
don't
on
know.
Fourth and Broadway, but I was out on an island bombing MCs all day. Fourth and Broadway and Island were record labels.
Yeah, I had no clue that that.
Right. From hold on, when I take it to the next plateau. Next plateau used to be a record label.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Wild Pitch, record label. Labels is about record labels, almost like he's naming all the from east, west of. I take it. I'm yeah, Virgin Records. Niggas began thinking they know the mics performed with Virgin. Yeah, Mercury. Yeah,
I recently reacted to a different song by Jizz. It was similar. It was magazine covers instead though.
that's Publicity, and that's the same guy. Yeah, that's on the next album. That's not on Liquid Swords, but yeah, Publicity is the play off of labels. And he has another one called Animal Planet where he does it with the
Oh
animals.
yeah, that sounds dope.
See, but this is what I mean. Even with that, it's like Killer Hills 10304 is actually a riff off of the original version from his first album. Words from the Genius has Life of the Drug Dealer on it, and so the whole Killer Hills 10304. No. They did that originally on the Genius first album. They just did it better. They just RZA was better. Genius was better. It's, yeah.
Yeah, I never heard that. Only Liquid Swords.
Yeah, you need to go listen to Words from the Genius. It's 1990, 1991.
Word to the Genius.
Words from the Genius.
I wrote that down.
Yeah, it's got Life of a Drug Dealer on there. Go listen to it. And go play that and then go play Killer Hills 10304. You'll be like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that for real.
Killer Hills might be my favorite song on Liquid Swords, actually. I love stories. I think Killer Hills 10304 might be the most underrated story in rap history that nobody talks about. It's that level of story. It's a high level story. And it's heard somebody use ether in a rhyme, not Nas on Stillmatic, but the way he ended. That's the first time I heard somebody use ether in a rhyme was actually on Liquid Swords. 400 barrels of ether, 50 immigrants with fake visas.
And
Like,
ether, he means like he's talking about drugs, right? He's selling drugs.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I got that one, but like some other songs, it's just flying over my head. I have no clue what they're talking about, but I got that. I got that one, I guess.
No, I mean, when he says I be swinging swords strictly based on keyboards, unbalanced like elephant and ants on seesaws. It's like, nah, you're hearing what you're hearing. That's just classic rap stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't want to think too much of it. It's like, no, just enjoy what you're hearing. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the idea of liquid swords is a whole metaphor. You know what I'm saying? You kind of got to enjoy the journey sometimes,
Yeah,
As a listener, you got to enjoy the journey of where the artist is taking you. hmm You know, I mean, like a lot of the Wu-Tang stuff is like right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you just got to have an ear, like an intellectual ear for music to hear some of the stuff they're saying. You know what I'm saying? And brand new. Ghost is on Guillotine, record breaking the album Thriller. It's like, no, you know what, Thriller's the record breaking album, fam. You know these bars. You know what I'm saying? These guys are just stars. That's what I mean. It's just like, no, it's not going over your head, dude. It's not. People try to make it seem that way, but it's not. It's not that complicated, dude. It's not. I
yeah, and
promise.
they also make like a lot of references that I have no clue. Like I have no clue. I have to like Google them what they are.
Good. Like, this is what I mean. You just need to know your stuff to know Wu Tang. Like, Ghost on the Older Gods is like, we like Dorothy Hamill on ice. We might circle. Dorothy Hamill is like the first woman to win a gold medal for the United States in figure skating, fam. It's
Word.
like 1956 or something. You get what I'm saying? So when he's saying we like Dorothy Hamill on ice, we might circle, it's like, oh, well, if you know your shit, then that bar hits you on a certain level. And so it's like, nah, they make you do your research, but that ain't research. It's hard to find. Go look up Dorothy Hamill. Then you be like, oh, I see you, Ghost. I see you, Ghost. You know what I mean? It's not that hard.
Yeah, I remember I did a reaction to Hell's Wind Staff, and then they did a bar about Katie Chung, and I'm like, who is Katie Chung? And all the comments they just said, "Eh, blasted, yo, the Katie Chung is this news reporter." I'm like, alright, okay.
Mm-hmm. Connie Chung.
Connie?
Connie. Is that her name? Yeah, Connie Chung. I remember Connie Chung. She's married to Maury.
No way.
Yeah, Connie Chung and Maury Povich were married. They were trying to have a baby. It was like a big whole media thing about how they were trying to have kids when they were married. That's part of where that whole "you are not the father" and all that shit comes from, anyway, with Maury.
No way.
I'm not joking. Him and Connie were trying to have kids. In are you in Living Color? Keenan Ivory Wayans, the Wayans brothers.
Nah, I never heard of
In You need to watch In Living Color if you want to be up on original hip hop culture. All our big hip hop acts used to perform on there.
Yeah, I never seen it.
No? Yeah, get you up on In Living Color. But they even, like, it was such a big deal that they did a whole sketch about Connie Chung. The song "Me So Horny" by Two Live Crew?
Nah.
Good Lord. Oh, yeah, we got caught up. But she was like, they made the song, they turned Me So Horny into Me Want More. Like, a whole thing. Like, they were making sketch comedy shows. I got to get out of here in a minute, fam. I got to get ready for a lot of big stuff tomorrow. So I don't want to cut you short, but I do have to get to a few other things.
No worries, bro. I know you're busy, guys. All good.
You got questions for me?
Okay, last you like it was written or Illmatic more?
Oh, that is funny. What do I like more?
Yeah.
Here's what I'll tell you. And this is the best way I can answer that question. I play Take It in Blood
Yeah.
every year on my birthday
My
when I
man.
wake up. And it's the first song that I play. And I refuse. Listen to me. On my birthday, I don't listen to any music until the first time that I hop in my car and I play that record every year on my birthday. It's the first thing that I do. Like sometimes I intentionally give myself something to do early in the morning on my birthday so I can go ahead and get it out the way. I'll get up at like 6:30 a.m. and go to the store and buy a bottle of water when there's like 3 cases of bottled water sitting upstairs. I go buy a bottle of water just so I can hear the record. And so that's how I start my birthday every year. And it's been that way since I was probably about 28. And I think The Setup is probably the most underrated song in his catalog and one of the best hip hop stories ever. Nobody talks about. I also ordered the CD version of the time of It Was Written for the UK and spent $32 of my money when my paychecks were only like $167 just so I could
Silent
have
murder.
Silent Murder.
Yeah.
Correct. And so, for as much as I love Illmatic, and as much as I still think it's the greatest hip hop album of all time, well, what did you hear? What I just told you about what I did to get Silent Murder? Do you hear what record I
Yeah.
play? If you get what I'm saying, that's what I mean. Is like when you ask me some things personally, it's like I'm going to tell you the truth. So it's like personally, I go to the Take It in, and when I talk about what I feel like is the greatest mic performance ever recorded, well, guess what? Same album. I Gave You Power. I tell people if you take 3 verses and a hook, it's the most lyrically well composed song ever put together, content, subject matter, and execution wise. So we have rap's greatest mic performance on this album. We have my personal favorite birthday song on this mic performance. We have the most underrated story in rap history, in my opinion, on there. We have a whole song that disappeared literally, and you had to order it overseas in the 90s and pay literally double the price of the CD just to get one song. Now, if I go through all of that, and I'm talking about one CD and it's not Illmatic, the other CD is pretty special. That's all I'm really. So It Was Written, it's not even about an Illmatic versus It Was Written thing. What I think people really need to understand, I think this is the best place to leave it. You do understand that it's a conversation. And so what
It
does that tell
is.
you? It Was Written should be ranked all time, really. That it's a conversation to people. Right. If
Hmm.
Illmatic is, in my opinion, the greatest rap album of all time, but I lean more towards It Was Written, and It Was Written as conversational. What does that say about where it ranks? Because I think a lot of the reason why It Was Written doesn't get ranked high is because people refuse to admit that it's in a lot of ways better than Illmatic.
I agree.
Hmm. There's a whole generation of like you popping up that I never thought would pop up either that believes that. And and I love it for him because you weren't outside, obviously. Oh, people shitted on this album, fam, and tried to make it seem like he fell off.
Mm-mm. Yeah, a
Hmm.
lot of people were saying he sold out with like the track masters and R&B.
It's funny how everybody else got to do it except for him. Motherfuckers
Right.
is literally everybody else is literally walking around with somebody singing on their hooks. It's just he wasn't allowed to do it. And I'll tell you what, it's one of the smartest business decisions he ever made. I think it's still his second highest grossing album. Biggest single he ever made in his career that still gets played to this day came out of that album. And if you look at the album, outside of the first 2 singles, it's a straight street album, actually. That's the crazy part about the criticism. If you were to take If I Rule the World and Street Dreams off, it's actually probably like harder than every album that came out in '96 except for maybe Hell on Earth. Like in terms of like the themes and the street shit that's going on. You take those 2 songs out, it's damn near the hardest album in '96 outside of Hell on Earth. You know what I'm saying? Like Shootouts, The Setup, Affirmative Action, I Gave You Power, Take It in Blood. Yeah. Suspect. Live nigga rap. Yeah, that's a street album.
It
Mm-hmm.
really is.
It really is. You take the singles off, it's a street album. I mean, you got Black Girl Lost right there too, but that's more conceptual than that is. You know what I'm saying?
I
Singles are.
like Black Girl Lost too. I
I
thought it
just
was
don't
good.
like the beat. I just don't like the beat. Keep the beat.
Don't like the beat. Okay.
Keep that beat.
To be honest, I didn't really like the beat on Nas is Coming, but I know it was like a crazy moment, but I don't know, it just didn't click like that for me.
There's a whole generation of y'all that feel that way too. I really enjoyed Nas is Coming, but I can look at it openly and honestly now and say that some of that is nostalgia because you do understand that when that record got made, that had never happened before. East
And
Coast,
East Coast and West Coast, yeah.
well, East Coast guy, it never went in and really gotten a beat from a West Coast guy, and it was those two guys. So yeah, so maybe that was some of the thing, and just in full honesty, it's like, well, Phone Tap came out the next year, and that's how the shit took. So
Yeah.
right,
Phone Tap was
right,
crazy.
Phone Tap's still crazy.
Yeah.
I love me some Phone Tap.
Same.
I do. I love Phone Tap. Phone Tap's like urban legend type of stuff. It's like, are you sure they really made this record? It's like I promise they really made this record.
You like it more than Affirmative Action?
Phone Tap every day, and twice on Sunday. That's
Damn.
Dr. Dre. That's Glove. Man, that beat. Dre on the hook, AZ on the back and forth. They had Nature on the chime in right quick. They even distorted the vocals to make it seem like a real Phone Tap. Man, that shit's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole lead in with the Phone Tap intro. Yo, this Esco who did no the whole shit. Like, damn, who fuck me right now? The whole shit. Oh no, I remember that shit. How about this? I love Phone Tap so much. I still need to play the intro before like the beat come on. Like I need time. I need time. Because when that beat drop, it's so serious. I remember where I was the first time I heard that beat drop. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "This is next." I was like, "They got next with this." You know, it just didn't come to fruition. But yeah, big Phone
Yeah, it
Tap.
sounded like it came straight from the wire if you seen it.
Yeah. See, okay, so Phone Tap, man, The Wire based on Phone Tap. Okay, how about that? I know it's based on real Baltimore hustles, but no, Phone Tap is a reason that The Wire exists. That's '97. That's what I mean. It's like Phone Tap is one of those records where it's like they ain't do nothing with this record. It's like, no, they ain't do nothing with this record. I mean, they dropped it, but nothing happened. It's like, how?
So why was the rest of the album not like that? Like why the firm flop then?
I still like the album. I don't
Why?
think flop. I think that the album. I mean, have you seen my interview, my 3-part series with Chris the Glove?
No.
I interviewed Chris the Glove Taylor, who actually made Phone Tap this year to start
Damn.
off the year. I did a 3 series with him. I would urge you to go listen to that because he'll give you direct insight because he was in the room about why that didn't work. But his thoughts were that they should have released Phone Tap as the first single instead of Firm Biz, and that had they done that, that the Firm album wouldn't have flopped, and that the Phone Tap the single alone probably would have went double, triple platinum, and the album would have sold about 4 or 5 million records. And that's from the producer who was in the room that helped make Dr. Dre stuff like Deep Cover and What's My Name. So Glove knows his stuff. You need to go check that interview out that I
Yeah.
did. I did it, and not because I did it. Anybody that says that they're a fan of hip hop and wants to learn something and get an education needs to go listen to my interviews with Glove because it was a true education that he gave me. And I know I'm a big, big head. And so when you're sitting down schooling me and teaching me stuff every week, and I'm like hardcore with it, and I do my research, and you're teaching me, go watch my Glove interviews. A whole new wealth and world of information into previous generations for you. I actually did the Glove interviews, not even for people like me, but for people like you that are actually, quite frankly, going to replace my ass soon. So Chris the Glove Saver, go look up our According to Hip Hop channel, Chris the Glove Saver. We did those in January to start off the year. And you got my info. You already slid in my DMs on Twitter, so just stay in touch with me.
All right.
We'll connect again. I'll be keeping track on you and seeing how you're building going. And you got any hip hop questions, shoot me a line. You know what I'm saying? I got dudes that I hit up, like, you know what I mean? Like my cousin Six, part reason why I reference him so much, well, he's 4 years older than me. So sometimes, like, the shit that I don't remember, I'll be like, hey, cuz, was it really like that? Like, da, 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 da. He's like, yeah, motherfucker, it was. Like, you wasn't there. You was like, you was like, you was still playing Nintendo, being stupid and stuff. He was like, you wasn't listening to that, you know. So, good resources, good networks are important. Being able to reach back and get a sense of history for this hip hop thing is important. So,
No, but thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I know you got a busy schedule, but
no, thank.
this was dope. Thank you.
Oh no, thank you for having me. You know what I'm saying? Shoot me the link. You already shot me the link to your page and like all that.
Yeah, it's in the Discord.
Yeah, yeah, we wavy, man. We man, just hit me up.
Alright, say no more.
All right, brother. Be good, man. Be
See
blessed.
you, bro. Good night.
You too.